Hi, boys and girls. This week in art, we are going to actually be finishing our fish. Last week, I had you put your shoe down on your piece of watercolor paper. You traced it around it, and then you drew the features onto your fish, have different textures. I also put a couple of other fish up there so that you could see them that looked a little different, had different textures. This is one of them. I just wanted to kind of show, this is actually finished with the watercolor, but this is my striped kind of Nemo fish. And then I have this spiky fish, and this is a little bit different. Let's see if I can get it in here. In its texture. This looks like it's pokey because it has all these little spikes on it. All right, so those are two other examples. I also kind of added this fin at the end that looks like a, what are those called? Angelfish. So it looks different than the other fins on the other fish that I did. Okay. So the very first thing that I would like you to do is take out a set of crayons. Hopefully you have a set of crayons at home. We're going to do something called crayon resist. And crayon resist is a method that artists use when they want something to have color, and they want to put watercolor over it, and the crayon pushes off the watercolor so it stays underneath the watercolor. Because crayons have wax in them, that's why they push it off. So it repels the water or pushes the water off. Okay? So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to get a set of crayons, and I would like you to go over all the lines that you made with crayon. Now here's something else you can do. Besides just making lines with your crayon, you can also take your crayon and fill in certain places. Like I could actually just fill these lips in with the crayon too if I wanted to. And when I go over this with watercolor, it is going to look purple still. It will still look like this because it's going to push off the water. Okay, so if you wanted to, you could even kind of fill in some of these, like if you have scales, fill in some of the scales that you have with watercolor. I did that with these stripes on this fish. This is crayon right here, and then the rest of it's watercolor. The stuff that's really dark is the crayon. I also filled the eyes in with black. You'll notice right here. I did the same thing with this fish as well. But you can do whichever watercolors you want to do, or crayons you want to do. You don't have to do the same colors that I did. These are just examples for you. So what I want you to do is pause this video right now. I want you to grab some crayons, and I want you to draw over your lines and fill whatever in you would like with your crayons. Okay, let's get started on the watercolor part. I gave each of you a set of watercolors that look like this. And all of you have brushes that look like this. And so you just need to go get a little cup of water, and your cup can look like whatever. It can just be a plastic tub like this. It could be a little glass. Whatever you want it to be, you go ahead and grab that right now. And then we're going to get started. Oh, here's another thing you need. Go ahead and grab some paper towels or a tissue so that when you change colors, you can wipe off your brush on this tissue. Okay? All right. And you can pause the video if you need to at any time to catch up. I'm going to just kind of be doing this. You can do it right along with me. You can watch me do the whole fish if you want to, and then get started on your own, or you can do it along with me. Whatever you choose is fine. All right, so for my fish, I'm going to start on the scales. And I've thought about this, and for the scales, I'm going to put this right here so you can see my watercolors. Remember, if you're using watercolor, you're going to put your brush in the water first and wake up the watercolors with the water. Okay, I think I'm going to use blue first. My color scheme here is cool colors. I've got lots of blues and purples and pinks. And I think I'm just gonna continue that. So actually I'm gonna start on the head. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go like this and just paint in the head. Now notice I kind of got on the lips there a little bit. Do you notice that? And it just beat it up really nicely right there. The more paint that you have on your brush, the darker it will be. And then the less paint you have, the lighter it will be. I want it to kind of be a little bit darker. So I'm just adding that. I might even just kind of go over these lips a little bit to add a little blue tinge to it. And a little bit of water. Like that. Okay. I have the head done. The head is all done now. There we go. I think I want to continue that blue here in the fins. Oh, I forgot this fin. This fin right here in the middle, this side fin right here. Let's do that really fast. All right. Got it. Okay, let's scoot this guy over a little bit so you can see now. All right, so now I need to do the body of the fish where all the scales are. And maybe I'm gonna make it a little bit rainbow fish-ish. That means that I'm going to do more than one color. So I think I'm gonna add red as some of my scales. Let's just add red in a few different scales. Just randomly. I'm not going to do this like in a certain kind of pattern or order, but you could, if you wanted to make it in a pattern, you absolutely could. I'm just going to kind of randomly all over the place. Add other scales here. And I'm not just going to do it with this red. I'm hoping this red looks a little bit pink. Let's see, I need some more red, I think. I think it does look pretty pink because it has that nice purpley pink next to it. All right, let's add a new color. Let's add, how about green? Red and green are also complementary colors. Put a little bit of green on here. Again, when I'm finished. And now I'm just going to finish it off. It looks really nice when sometimes you blend colors together. Let's look at this previous fish that I did. You'll notice that I don't just have the color blue here, but I also have purple. And I've kind of blended this purple into the blue right here. So if you want that kind of a nice watery, it's nice because it's a fish, and it's this beautiful watery kind of a look, then you can add other colors, and they need to be next to each other on the color wheel. So what would be a color that is next to, let's say, blue? We have a couple of colors. I know one of the colors next to blue is purple, and it happens to be right next door on here as well. So I'm going to add some water to my brush, some purple, if I want it to kind of have a nice, this is kind of a little more dry now, so it's not going to be as nice and watery as the other one, but still a little bit. Kind of a nice watery kind of a look, so it adds a little dimension to my or my pins here. Add some over here, maybe right next to the line right here. Have it go from kind of purple to blue. Just add a little water and kind of bring that up like that. It's just kind of a subtle kind of a look like that. Ooh, I like that. I'm also going to do it down here next to that line where the fin attaches to the fish. Do a little. I think I added a little too much color. So look at this. You can actually blot it off. Look how much that blotted off. That's actually too much. A little bit more purple. Blend it in. And then let's do it one more time. Over here on the face, on the head, actually. That's what it's called. And it looks like I'm painting blue on, but it actually is not blue. It's actually purple. And it's blending into this blue so well that it looks purple. So that's how you do that. If you want to add just a little more dimension to your fish, have it look a little more interesting. All right, I think I'm happy with that. So here's my kind of rainbow fish. I hope that yours turned out just how you wanted it to. You can make yours look like any kind of color scheme you want. This one's more monochromatic where you use just kind of one color-ish. This one has some nice, beautiful blending. My spiky fish is a little more blended. All right, so the next step that you're going to take is you can use a marker or you can use a crayon, and you're going to write your name and your teacher somewhere on the background. Okay? Name and your teacher. Actually, no, you're not. Okay, Mrs. Elton made a mistake. I don't know what I'm thinking. I forgot to do one step. Let's do this step together. I'm going to do it with my other fish because it's smaller. Okay, we are going to hang these up on the walls. So I'm going to have you find a pair of scissors in your house. And I'm going to have you use your awesome cutting skills to cut out your fish so that it looks like we're going to have all of these fish all over the walls of the school in schools of fish. Remember how I told you a school is like a group of fish? That's what they call a group of fish. We're going to have a whole bunch of them all over the school. It's not just going to be in one place. It's going to be fun because it's going to be all over. Okay. Oops. Spiky thing. Spiky thing. There we go. We want these spikes to come out on the sides here. All right, let's get these lips cut out. And then I'm going to finish off my tail. Okay. Oops. Okay. So my fish is cut out now. Look how beautiful that looks. That makes me happy. Now you're going to take your marker and you're going to turn over your fish. I do not want you to write your name on the front of your fish. Do not write it on the front. Okay? You're going to turn it over and you're going to write your name and your teacher on the back. So forget what I said about writing it on the background. I want you to cut it out. Because if you don't cut it out, I'm going to spend 100 years cutting all these fish out. You guys can do it yourselves. Then you're going to take this back to your classroom and you are going to turn it into your teacher box in your classroom that has your teacher's name on it. Okay? Then I'm going to come and get them and I'm going to hang them up all over the school. All right. It was so good to teach you today about fish and about watercolor. I hope that you enjoyed making your fish, and I cannot wait to see what you turn back into me. I'll see you later.